And welcome. There we go. We'll start again. So, good morning and welcome to our webinar where we'll be exploring the next generation of banking experiences with Yavrio today. My name's James Borden. I'm the sales and account manager here at Sci-Net, and with me we have Phil Dawson from Yavrio. Now, just a bit of context. So we've been partnering with Yavrio for the past 3 years. And in that time, we've seen 8 of our mutual customers take full advantage of their innovative solutions, which Phil will be showing you today, alongside hundreds of other businesses as well. So if you're currently on Business Central, Yavrio is the perfect fit to enhance your banking operations. If you're looking to streamline financial operations as well, definitely have this on your wish list. And those of you who are on Nav and considering an upgrade, this is definitely a product to keep on your radar too. So I will keep my introduction brief, as I'm sure Phil has lots to say. But Phil, yeah, over to you.
Perfect. Thanks so much, James. Hi, everyone. So I'm Phil Dawson. As James mentioned, I'm the head of sales for Yavrio. So very excited to show you the solution. Yeah, we've been working with Sci-Net for just over 3 years now. Actually, one of our earliest partners. So we are a UK startup born out of the fintech hub of London, where you see, the likes of Revolut starting up as well. So just to give you a bit of context into who we are, our CEO, John Lewis, not the department store, he started the company as a Dynamics consultant himself, and he wanted to create a simple solution that can connect your banks seamlessly into your ERP system. Why have we done that? Well, 30% of the time that finance teams spend is spent manually reconciling their transactions. So using files to do that and going line by line down. Not only that, but we are seeing, I think, we're seeing 70% of finance teams are working overtime at month end, trying to balance their books. And so we want you to be able to buy back your time, but not only that, and it's a little bit more scary, but it's projected that there's going to be around a 320 billion loss due to financial fraud as cybercrime becomes more sophisticated. So how we position ourselves is we are on the bleeding edge of the latest tech that can exist within your ERP system, and we would hope that you are on board with that innovation as cybercrime becomes more sophisticated. So not dropping old habits and picking up new ones as well. So I do have some slides to show you. If I can share that. James, can you give me a wave if that's coming through okay? Great. Perfect. So in terms of who we are, as I said, we're a fintech company ultimately that serves the ERP space. My background is in the card payment acquiring background. So I love, if you want to talk to me about Google Pay, Apple Pay, tokenization, how money moves through card schemes, etc., I'd love all that. So feel free to reach out. But our niche, we've come from open banking and payments backgrounds, but we also leverage the expertise that started with John Lewis for the ERP space. So we think we are really bridging a gap there. We are the UK's first open banking application that exists within Business Central that can allow not just the feeds, your transactions coming in. There are other solutions that can do that, not even within Dynamics, but being able to send payments out with open banking, but also other payment rails, which I'll demonstrate a little bit later. And so we're on 50% of new implementations for the UK. We work with about 150 partners, Microsoft partners globally, and we operate in the UK, the EU, US, and Canada, as well as the Middle East. So what do our customers like about us? Well, a lot of companies on the ERP systems will have some sort of global presence. They might have a Euro account, they might have a USD account, they might bank with, for example, HSBC. We've got a client that banks with HSBC in the UK, Netherlands, as well as Dubai and Abu Dhabi, being able to offer them a solution that they can connect their bank accounts within their system seamlessly. Having a comprehensive payment solution. So we know that all payments work differently across different jurisdictions, and so we like to be on the front end of that, being able to anticipate those needs and being able to execute global payments. Our security is second to none when it comes to your banking data. It's certainly better than using CSV files. So to give you a bit of context, CSV files were invented in I think it was 1973 when the Vietnam was in full swing. Also, the French guillotine was still being used, and Hugh Laurie was still at school. So I would like to think we have come far since then, and the security gains that exist outside of the file format is something that really should be taken advantage on, especially if you're considering going through a NAV upgrade into Business Central. And then also, just savings from day one. So right now you're probably having to go into your bank, download a statement, save it to your drive, go into your system, upload the statement, start reconciliation. Whereas if you could just either click a button and pull those statements straight in, or even better yet, just automate that via job queues, that's going to give you savings from day one, and you're going to be able to buy back so much time. In terms of our solution itself, it's summarized into 3 areas. So the first is how you connect your bank to get your feeds. So that is your balances. And as I said, we work globally, and in total, we work with just over 10,000 different banks. And that's going to be based on different levels of connectivity. Some is going to be through open banking, some's going to be through other third-party permission protocols, and some's going to be through Treasury APIs. So that's going to determine the level of integration that you need, but we're pretty well versed in all of this. So do reach out if you think you've got a niche bank. The chances are we might be able to work with you anyway. So yeah, do reach out to us or Sci-Net. And the second area of our proposition is the automated reconciliation. So being able to pull in your statements into your environment. So being able to, when you pull in your statements, I mentioned that you're going to be saving files, etc., and transferring them over, whereas you'll be able to just with a click of a button bring those statements in and even start the enhanced matching immediately. And then for the payments, so sending payments out, well, we cover a wide variety of rails. This multi-rail payment slide needs a little bit of updating. So to give you some context, for the UK, we work with faster payments and BACS as the primary payment rails. That's just because with faster payments, typically for 99% of all banks in the UK, they will leverage faster payments as the preferred payment rail when making a transfer. So think of this as paying off an Amex credit card. When you're paying off your statement and it offers you either pay by your 16-digit card number or paying with pay by bank, then you select your bank, you log in, etc. That is you initiating an open banking payment, and very often that's a faster payment that's being initiated. And then you've got the BACS payments. So often people use faster payments and BACS interchangeably, but they're actually very different payment rails with different settlement times. So faster payments is typically immediately to 2 hours, and BACS is a T+2, so a 3-day settlement window. So as we start engaging conversations with us and with your consultants, it's worth differentiating what are you considering a faster payment, what are you considering a BACS payment, just so that we can help you further down the line. And how that works is we have a connection to the BACS network via a BACS bureau, and that way, rather than having your gatekeepers being the bank to facilitate the BACS payments, you'll be able to talk to BACS directly to make those payments within Business Central. And also scheduled payments. So if you've got future dated payments, we can we've built something there for you, which I can show you in a moment. And then international payments. So we can offer single payments, bulk multi-currency payments, and we have a direct connection to the SWIFT network. So this is Yavrio offers international bulk payments powered by Xe. So we have a strategic partnership with Xe.com, just for full transparency. But what you'll be doing is you'll be leveraging both the Swift network as well as open banking APIs to be able to facilitate those multi-currency payments. I'll show you what that looks like in a moment as well. And then, as such, naturally, you'll need to understand the foreign exchange of that, and so I can show you that on the demo as well. So enough of me just talking about Yavrio. Let's go ahead and I'll show you how to connect your banks. We'll get some transactions, and we will make some payments as well. Just to let you know, we are on the cloud as well as on AppSource, on the cloud as well as on-prem. And so if you're on the cloud, then you can just download us on the free trial here. Once you've downloaded us, it will just install into your environment and you'll be good to go. If you are on-prem, just let us know what version you're on. We'll support BC 14 and BC 17 to 25. If you have a different version, then let us know and we can see what we can do there. And then before installing us, it might be worth checking if your bank is covered. If you don't see your bank on here, then just let us know and we can look that up for you. This is through predominantly open banking connections. But if there is something which if there's a bank which necessitates more of an enhanced integration, such as a Treasury API that might not be listed here, then let us know and we can look into that. But to give you an idea, so you can search by country, or you can search, let's just use HSBC as an example. So you can see the EU accounts, net, business. So when you're inquiring into Yavrio, it's worth knowing when we say who do you bank with, don't say just HSBC or Barclays, because there are very different institutions associated. So you've got Barclaycard, you've got Barclays Corporate, and then you've got what's the other one? Barclays Business as the three main ones. Not many people will use their personal Barclays to connect into their ERP systems, though you could. So once you're happy with our institution list and you're ready to go ahead and connect your account, you're just going to log into Business Central. You're going to go to your bank accounts. And then on the bank statement service, you're going to see a Yavrio registration form. You'll just fill that out after the app's installed. You'll fill out your true credentials so that we can conduct a KYC, know your customer, and AML check and see money laundering. And once that is complete, you'll be free to connect your account. Now we have a saying live in 5, providing your company structure isn't very complicated. It might take an extra hour. But live in 5 minutes is typically the time it takes to install us, get the KYC done, and be up and running with connecting your banks. So once that's done, you can go ahead and connect your bank accounts. And then from there, as I said, we connect to 10,000 institutions. So it would help if you filter that down by selecting your country code. And then from there, you'll get an alphabetized list of the different institutions that you can connect with. Which will be the same as your bank coverage here. Now, for the purposes of this demo, I will connect you to a sandbox bank account. This is not a real bank account, but it is connected to NatWest. So we've not created anything here. Now, this takes you out of Business Central, and it takes you into the bank's login page. It's worth knowing that because we don't want to store any login credentials when connecting your bank. And then once you've logged in, you'll then get an overview of the different accounts. So I'll select this one. I'd love this one to be my account. But if you've got multiple accounts, you can bring them in one action. The most we've done is about 150 in one go. But if you want to bring in one at a time, then you can. Most people, if they have multiple accounts, though, in one company, will bring it in. What I will say is if you've got multiple companies in one instance, and you've got an overview of these different companies, company accounts, let's say company A, company B, then you should do one at a time so that you don't bring in the wrong bank account to the wrong company. So once I've confirmed the access, we'll then see that the authentication is successful. It will take us back into Business Central, where we'll be prompted with this red asterisk to direct that connection that Business Central has found to the relevant bank account card. So if we scroll down, You can select NatWest. We're going to say yes. This is just asking if we would like to override the information that Business Central has discovered. That we've already put into Business Central with what they've just discovered, with what NatWest has provided. And then once I've clicked save, I'll then come out of the institution list. And then you'll see a nice green font here. If I go into the bank account card, I'll see a nice logo pop up. See that I'm connected with my balance here. I'll then also on the right-hand side, because I'm connected to a few other institutions, but you'll see a line graph generate. That'll be updated every hour, reflecting the available balance in your account. Now, this live balance from the bank, this is going to be updating every hour. You can shorten that or extend that with the help of your consultant, because it's via a job queue. What I will say, though, is you can just click on update live balance, and then we'll do a pull from your bank to update that balance if you need to get a quick snapshot. And then the back service user number and the back's payment profile ID, I'll ignore that for now. There's just a few extra steps when it comes to making back's payments. As I said, you'll be connecting to the back's bureau in order to make back's payments. As such, we'll need to connect your service user number to the back's bureau service user number. So this would be called your SUN, and we would need to connect your SUN to the BSUN. And then once that's done, we'll be able to create for you a payment profile ID, which we would put into here, and then you'd be up and running. So it's an extra couple of steps. The longest part would be asking your bank to actually connect the SUN, but if they're very quick, then you can be up and running in within a day. The last couple of things I'll just mention on the connection stage is you can select, you can remove your consent, so you can disconnect your accounts through here. Consent is a very specific term. Now, the reason being is the bank issues what's called a consent token, which attaches to Business Central. Under FCA regulations, your consent tokens have to expire. If you've used Xero or QuickBooks, then that's of no surprise. It's often every 90 days you have to reconfirm that you want to stay connected. And so for the UK, our past year it's changed to 180 days, so 6 months. But if you've got a European bank, then that's going to be every 3 months. And then if you're in America, because it's the land of the free, you'll be connected forever. Until that changes. It may change over the next 5 years or so. There's a bit more pressure on the on fintechs commissioned by the US government to make the fintech ecosystem more user friendly, with also provide more transparency. Bit of background into open banking. Banks don't want to share financial data; they'd like to keep hold of it, but it's a legal requirement that you have a right to access that data. And so the US are slowly coming on board with that, but that's going to take some time. Anyway, bit of history lesson. Let's go ahead and pull some transactions. So to do that, we're going to go to our bank account reconciliations page. Now, there are 3 ways to do this. One is a non-Yavrio way, which I won't recommend. You'll select your bank card. Once you've selected your bank card, all you're going to do is click on bank, and then you'll import your bank statements. That's if you have gone into your bank portal, exported the file from there, saved it to your drive, and then imported the bank statement into here. There is another button that says Get Transactions from Bank. This is a Yavrio button. I'll show you what it brings up. This table. It's not going to bring up a table because I've not got one. Not got a bank selected. But we're not going to do it this way because I prefer another way. There is another button which brings up the same table, really. Auto run all bank recs. But what is the difference? Well, if I click on new, I would be selecting one bank at a time. But even though if I have one bank account connected, this button will still work, but it will also work on all the accounts that I have connected via Yavrio within this company. So if I click on auto run all bank recs, I'll be given this table to ask from what date and what 2 dates am I bringing my transactions in. If I'm working on a report, then I can add to the existing reconciliation. So let's say I put in bank account A and B. I would then, for creating a new one, it would populate A and B on this side. And then if I want to do it again, I can add to the existing one, and it will know that bank account A will belong to bank account A and bank account B will belong to bank account B. So that's quite a useful feature. But for now, let's just pull in the transactions. I think I've got 5 bank accounts connected. 2 from Yapily, 1 from 2 from Yapily, 1 from Bank of America. Yeah, there we go. So those didn't have any transactions, so nothing came out, but we did have some transactions for the account that we had just connected, NatWest. And we can see on the left-hand side, the bank statement lines are ready to be reconciled against the ledger entries on the right. And from here, Yavrio steps back and you would go about the standard Business Central workflows in matching those transactions, either via these arrows with match manually or match automatically by taking a sweep on both the ledger entries and statement lines and then matching them off. Now, a useful feature that we've implemented, if we take let's make a mental note. Let's look at this transaction for 3,600 pounds. Let's go ahead and delete the line. If you accidentally delete a line, then what you can do is you can click on bank, get transactions from bank, and keep it the same, keep the date range the same, but say that you're adding to the existing reconciliation. What will happen is we'll make a pull to NatWest from NatWest, and then we'll also put those transactions through a filter because every transaction has a unique code. And if that transaction already exists, then we will exclude it from your environment. And so you can see that the transactions haven't come in, but we can see that the one transaction that we deleted at 3,600 has. So you're not going to duplicate any of your statement lines again. So a very useful tool. The last thing I'll just mention on the getting of the transactions from bank, and this is not an upsell, this is just standard out of the box. You can use this if you want. You can automate these statement pulls for daily, weekly, monthly, whatever increments you want to set. This is via a job queue, so you might need the help of a consultant. And this means you can come in the morning, log on and see your transactions already in, ready to be matched. If you want to go one step further, then you can click on this apply automatically, and you'll be asked for the tolerance days. This is us just copying the table from match automatically into this toggle here, so that when you come in the morning or log on, you'll see your transactions in, but they'll also be initially matched from the statement lines to the ledger entries. And then all you'll need to do is just review them and then post them. I probably wouldn't recommend posting them before you even log on. So just make sure you marry up any of the stragglers if anything came in overnight, or maybe you forgot to transfer some statement lines over to the general journal. But yeah, that's available to you at no extra cost. So that's the statement pool side. If you are using the payment reconciliation journals, what I will say is we have duplicated the functionality that I've just shown you in the payment reconciliation journals. Why? Some people like to work on bank account reconciliations. Some like to work on payment reconciliation journals. Up to you. And so, yeah, whatever you're used to using. I'm not going to show you again because it's exactly the same. Now, if I go to the payment journal, I'm going to make 3 payments. One is going to be a faster payment, one's going to be a BACS payment, and one is going to be a international payment. So if the standard Business Central workflows isn't going to change, so you're still going to prepare your journal, you're going to get your vendors in, and you're going to get the journal approved. Once that's approved, you will then make sure that you are, it's a bank account, it's a Yavrio connected account. You're going to click on bank, send payments to bank. You're going to keep the date today for immediate. This is if you have a user who is not available on Business Central but needs to log into a bank to send a journal. And let's say you lost the credentials or you don't have them, then you can send that via an email authorization. But let's say it's me that's going to do it. You're then, similar to the login stage, you're going to get a QR code and a link. taken into the bank portal. And this is where, you're going to be likening this to your Amex settlements when you're paying off your credit card statement. You pay by bank, you log in, it tells you the summary of what's in your account and how much has been requested into who. You'll then click confirm. And then once it's authenticated, you'll then be taken out and back into Business Central to get an overview of this payment you've just made. And in your case, you'll probably see pending, not completed. The reason for that is because we're not disrupting the approval flows that you might have in place at the finance director stage or the CFO who is actually releasing those funds. So what we've done is, rather than click export, save it to our drive where fraud could happen, and then upload it to the bank. You're just now connecting this to NatWest and sending it straight away. But those approval flows will still happen where you'll be prompted to release those funds depending on the approval flows that you have. So that's the open banking payment routes. That's using bank architecture. Now, let us know who you bank with prior to actually having a demo, because just a bit of insight, not every bank is equal. And I mentioned that the government wants the banks to be more transparent with their financial data that you for what you receive, but also for how you can make payments. And there are minimum requirements. One of them is the ability to get your feeds in and get your transactions in. That's how you can get information on your credit score, etc. And you can use like Credit Karma, Experian. That some of it is used through open banking to get that data. But then with making payments, the minimum requirement is often it's called PIS, Single Domestic Payment Initiation Services. So that is being able to pay one line at a time, because it's normally geared towards consumer banks. Again, going back to that American Express settlement, paying off that one statement, it's one payment that you're making. But there is another API protocol that banks can have, and that is PIS Domestic Bulk. That is where you've got multiple lines, which is more useful for you in Business Central. Now, for a lot of the banks, it's absolutely fine. But if there's a niche bank that we need to address, then it's worth just letting us know. Hey, I bank with this institution. Can you check to see if they can offer a bulk payment with open banking? Then, providing you want to make faster payments, we would, or SEPA if it's a European account, then we'd look into that for you. Now, if we're going to make BACS payments, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to reset this. And I'm now going to click Send Payments to Bank. I'm then going to change the payment method from bank transfer, which is what we're defining as open banking, and we're going to do BACS. Now, we do need to schedule this payment because BACS is not immediate. As I said, it's T+2, so transaction plus 2 days. So what we're going to do is we're going to settle this to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I'm going to ask you, are you sure you want to make this payment? Now you've communicated to BACS that you would like to make a payment. Now, it says here, awaiting authorization. This is where your CFO or your finance director will have been prompted to release funds. So now we are, as I said, I mentioned that the banks are the gatekeepers to BACS in some of this. Now you're communicating directly to BACS. We've essentially cut out the middleman in this case. So we've now gone straight to the authorizers, and we're going to go into our emails. We'll see that just now a payment request has come in saying that Yavrio is requesting that I release £10,000. So I'm going to say, all right, let's take a look at that. We're going to sign in to Microsoft, and then I'm going to go into my trusty authenticator app on my phone. It can be anyone that you choose. I'm using the Microsoft one, but it doesn't matter. This is part of the onboarding process. We would set that up with you. It's very quick. But you can see where the payment is coming from, who it's going to, and the timestamp of the payments that are being made here. So let's say I'm happy with this payment. I'm going to put in my code, so 296. Oops. So you can see that we're now authorized, and we can also see the timestamp here. If I go back into Business Central and I click on Get Payment Status, it will go from awaiting authorization to now pending. And which is great. We're just waiting for those funds to settle. I would recommend waiting for those funds to settle before posting, just because let's say your payee changes their bank details and then their new bank doesn't support backs receiving payments, which can happen, then this would be blocked. So you'd have to unapply everything that you've just posted. So a bit of a nightmare. I'm very risk averse in this regard. So just wait until it's all settled and then post it. But if we go back into the portal, we can look at the history. I, as the CFO, can look at the history of the payments that I have pending, but also the approved and rejected payments here. And then if you go into your user management, you can see who could approve, what values they could approve, and you can set up how many authorizers you have. You can also create a rule where if I'm submitting the payment, I can't be the one to authorize it. There are some banks that have that in place, and you can use that if you want. And you also create your new users here. They'll be prompted to set up the authorization portal account. Once this is set up with you, you'll be given some recovery codes to keep safe, because if you lose it and you can't log in again, no one can access it, even Yavrio. So there'd be nothing we can do. We'd have to re-onboard you. So just keep that in mind. And you can see recover the authenticator app as well. Now we've just made some domestic payments, and by the way, this could be a payment that is I don't know, use 10 grand here, but it could be up to, we process tens of millions in one go. So I haven't seen a cap on this yet, which is great. So if we reset this payment, and I'm actually going to go to a different payment journal now. I'm going to go to my webinar payment journal. So here I've got 3 lines now. One's in 2 in USD, one's in Swedish krona, and I'm actually paying from my NatWest bank account. How does this look? Well, with the international payments, there's a little bit more onboarding. We would get you to set up some how you want these vendors to be posted, just because when you make these international payments, they'll automatically be reconciled as well. So just making sure that that's all in check. But to send this, you're going to click on this button here, and you're going to click on Pay with XC. Now, I said that this is powered by XE because they have the Swift network. So what we are doing is we are asking them to calculate the exchange rate of a GBP converting to USD and SEK. Once clicked OK, I'll then see a countdown for 85 seconds. And I can see the current exchange rate. Why is it counting down? Well, it's a spot FX. It's a live exchange rate that we're seeing. And then once the time has expired, I would have to refresh the quote. But don't worry, it's very quick. And then you can also check that everything is in place. You can also see the total amount that I would be paying and the contract status. So you need to confirm that you are happy with the exchange rate before you initiate the payment, just legally. Let's say we're happy with this. We're going to confirm. The MPT number is the reference that is going to be used to reconcile those transactions. So I'm continuing. I'm happy with this quote. I'm now ready to make the payment. So now we've locked in the contract. We've locked in the exchange rate, and you're given typically 3 days to settle this contract. That is, we need to move the money to XE in order for them to distribute via their Swift network in the respective currencies. So you can either just wire them the money. That's absolutely fine. Or you can click on this button here, which will take you to a Yavrio portal. So if we click continue, it's pulled the details from the payment journal of where the money is coming from, but also where the payment is going to. HiFX Europe Limited is the legal entity of XE. And as I said, the MPT reference here is what's going to be used to reconcile against those vendors. So if we click on NatWest Bank Sandbox, again, that QR code and the link. Coming out of Business Central, you'll just log into the bank. And you'll see an overview of the balance. Again, HiFX Europe with the amount that's been requested. We can now see that the payment's authorized. We don't need this tab anymore, so now it's going to disappear. If we go back into Business Central, we'll see that the settlement's authorized by Yavrio, and now Xe is processing your payment. So we've used open banking to pull the total amount of the payment journal into Xe, and then Xe has now started distributing the funds into their respective currencies. Now that's not immediate. That's the same rules will apply, and it can be SEPA, it can be other payment rails used to settle in Sweden, but in USD, it's often ACH. So they'll convert it and then deposit the money in ACH via ACH. Let's go ahead and say that, let's just pretend that they've received the funds. And so I'm going to click simulate. This isn't going to exist in your environment. This is to just replicate the landing of funds. So we'll now see it's gone from contract confirmed to completed and settled. And then if, let's say, someone wanted to query a payment, then you've got this open banking reference here. You can raise that with us or with Xe, and we can look into the transaction itself for those various vendors. Now, from there, you can look at your contract notes. They'll automatically be processed, but also the vendors, you can turn this off or keep it on, but your vendors, as long as you've got email addresses in there, they will automatically receive a remittance advice when you execute a payment. So very handy to have. Now, now that I'm done with this, I can go ahead and post this. Now that I've posted, if I want to see a history of the various payments that I've made, I can go into my Xe contracts and I can see a history with the status of the contracts themselves. So you'll see this one I've just made here. If you are, let's say you get an invoice at the beginning of a month with a particular exchange rate, and you settle and you pay the vendor with a different exchange rate, then any realized gains and losses will be automatically realized, will be automatically updated in the detailed vendor ledger entries. And then when reconciling those transactions, then as I showed you before, you would just go into your auto run bank recs or go into here and then just create a new reconciliation or add to the existing one there. There might not be any transactions because banks will settle. This was a faster payments that we've made to Xe, but then yeah, actually getting those transactions might take a little bit of time. So we can see the initial 10 grand payment that I'd made at the beginning of the payment section, but then you'll see all the MPTs here for some of the other transactions that I've made here. And then, sorry, excuse me. Sorry. So what I'll do is I'll just round off with this. It's very easy to join us. It's also very easy to leave us. And so if you want to disconnect your bank account, then you just click on remove consent. And that's it, you've stopped using Yavrio. If you are using us for Bax, then we just ask you to disconnect your Bax account from the Bax Bureau. But then after that, you've stopped using Yavrio. And yeah, so that rounds off the Yavrio demo. Happy to take any questions, concerns, critiques. Yeah.
Just put my camera back on. No, thank you so much for that, Phil. It was a very thorough demo, and you can see how effortless it is to connect your direct bank account, but also to streamline all of that within your accounts as well. The transactions in and out, which is great. So I'm thinking for all the parties who are interested, which I'm sure there will be, what is the cost for Yavrio?
Sure. So there are different costs associated depending on the level of service that you want. So there's an open banking proposition, that's like our flagship, and that's priced on a per bank account connection. So it doesn't matter how many users you have. If you've got 10 users accessing one bank account, we're just charging you for one bank account connection. And so you'll see that here for
Perfect.
how many you've got connected. If you're using us for faster payments, so open banking payments, then there's a slight increase in that, and the price will start. It starts from £60 per bank per month, but it can go as low as £17.50 depending on how many accounts you have. And so the more accounts you have, the cheaper it is overall. What I will say is on backed pricing, that's priced a little bit different because we partner with backs and we pay backs as well. That is on a percentage basis, and that is 0.1% of the payment journal value. So if you're paying off an invoice for £100, then it's going to cost 10p to send that payment. What I will say, depending on how many transactions you have, we call it TPV, total payment value. It would be worth disclosing that to either yourself, James, or someone in a consultant to request for quotes. And then what we typically do is if the payment is quite significant, then we will write off the connection fee. So it just depends on how much payments you're making. And then lastly, on the international payments fronts, if you are it's done via the commercials are done via XE, but the app is free. The use of the FX modules are free. All that is being charged is the FX, the actual foreign exchange taking place, and any transaction fees associated with it. Off the bat, whatever you're paying the bank, it's exactly the same. It's just paid to XE. If you think you're paying too much to the bank, which often is the case, then let us know, and we can put you in touch with someone way smarter than me at the commercials on FX, and they can come up with a separate commercial arrangement with you. But they typically save tens of thousands a year, depending on the size of the business, of course. But yeah, that typically is the case.
Perfect. Well, there you have it. So if you're looking to upgrade and enhance your banking experience, then please do get in touch. Customer wise, I'll be reaching out to you guys and sending the demo around. But for anyone else looking to maybe get a one-on-one demo or just a chat with either me or Phil, then yeah, we're available and happy to do so. But I think if that's it from you, Phil, from your side. I think we can finish this.
Great. Yep. And then I'll just round off with this. If anyone would like to use us for a free trial, then if you sign up before the 14th, so the second week of April, 14th of April, then we'll give you a 3-month trial on us for the open banking proposition.
Perfect. Lovely. Very nice. Thanks
Great.
very much, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.